Right, good morning, guys. I just wanted to share with you a quick video about your reading that was posted. We're going to be talking about 1,000 paper cranes. Now, you can find 1,000 paper cranes in PDF form in either Canvas because they're going to look the same. You need to go straight to week 1, and it's right here. Okay, that 1,000 paper cranes will open up a PDF. It's going to be 21 pages long. The first one, I know you can't read much, so it's not that important. I want to remind you that this is a play. So it's going to give some stage directions and italics that aren't supposed to be said out loud, but it's helping us understand what it looks like. When we look at some of the dialogue, Kenji is all capitalized, and then this is what he says. This is what's happening around him. So Sadako runs in, out of breath and laughing. As you read, it will start make more sense to you as the story comes out, even if we are stopping and reading the stage instructions of like how she's laughing and, Kenji stops and laughs with her. So that's nice. So a quick overview of 1,000 paper cranes before you start taking your close read, or if you've already been read and it's been confusing. So just to clarify, Sadako is Japanese. She lives in a time really close to the bombings of Hiroshima, and that's actually where she lives. So she was 2 years old when the bomb dropped. When the bomb dropped, she survived, so did her mother. But someone who did not survive was her grandmother. Okay. So grandmother did not survive the bomb dropping, but they did. But that doesn't mean that she has gotten away unscathed, because with every bomb there was still some unintended consequences down the line. So she spends a lot of the play praying to grandmother, "Can you hear me, grandmother?" as she's hoping to succeed in life. And right now, the one thing she really wants to do is win a race. Now, it's a foot race, so how fast can you run? Her and her friend Kenji are practicing. They make fun of each other, calling each other turtles. And then something happens. She falls and she trips, and Sadako moves slowly in a circle, obviously dizzy. She's starting to see her grandmother. But something happens. What is the matter with Sadako? What is the matter with Sadako? Do you see how two actors are repeating all of this? It's supposed to be like her and her parents. But as we go farther down, x-ray her chest, put her in the hospital, put her to bed. Why did she fall? Take more tests, but I'll miss the race. No, don't you worry. Leukemia. So Sadako goes down during her race, and they realize that she needs tested, and they find that she has leukemia, which is a blood cancer. Okay, not good. They call it the atom bomb sickness because the atom bomb, the radiation from it, which is right here in line 161, set some things off inside of her body that she can't control. She wasn't there. She didn't cause it. She's lost control of that, and now she has leukemia. Okay. Right here in 20, Kenji brings a present for Sadako, and it's the paper cranes. He folds a paper crane for her. She's like, "Oh, well, that's cool." Kenji says, "Don't you remember that old story about the crane? It's supposed to live for 1,000 years. And if a sick person folds 1,000 paper cranes, the gods will grant her wish and make her healthy again." There's your first one. Now, you might have realized that we've been counting slowly upwards to the entire play and it didn't make sense. It's actually Sadako counting how many cranes she has. Now, does it make sense why we made all those cranes? Yeah, because if we could make 1,000, Sadako will live. The race happens, and we try not to tell Sadako what was going on and just give her a moment to try to get better. Okay. We have some repeats, but okay. This is where we need to start thinking about what these things mean. because now she's starting to see grandmother and talk to grandma. Remember, grandma is dead. And then grandma says, "Yes, I have returned to help you, Sadako." Well, I don't know what she means by help here. Okay, I have to show you something. Come. So they get on this big paper crane and they go somewhere. Okay. It's a special day called All Souls Day, which is where the spirits of one side of the world can communicate with the spirits of the real world, and that's how grandma can come back and talk to her, talk to Sadako. Grandma then takes her on a journey through like the underworld, and she meets an emperor and all these other people who tell their stories of what happened on the day the bomb dropped. "I was helping to build fire lanes for Hiroshima. The enemy may come soon," they said, "and we must build fire lanes. I was digging with my shovel, and I saw the metal glow right before me, and I watched it melt. Everything turned white. Then I was here. I had just prepared breakfast for my baby boy. I was bending over his basket to pick him up when I felt a tremendous wind blow me across the room. My baby boy has not joined me here. I was 7 years old when I came here. I had studied my lessons hard for an examination. I was walking to school. I looked up to see a bird fly. Suddenly the sky was on fire." So these people are actually the people in the spirit world telling them what happened just before the bomb dropped and they died. Kind of like grandmother's story. And then she says, "The bomb continues to fall, Sadako. It is falling even now, because people are still dealing with the pain of the bomb, like Sadako, who's now got cancer because of it." We're counting higher and higher, 644. But from here, like by the last couple pages, Sadako has died now on October 25th in 1955, and her friends and classmates folded 356 cranes to make 1,000. So we actually folded more than that in our classroom. Sadako's friends began to dream of building a monument to her and all the children who were killed by the atom bomb, and then they did. So, as the play ends, Kenji is the only one now making paper cranes after his friend has died. As we scroll on, look, Grandma, you were right. Okay. So she eventually gets to 1,000, but only because she died and her friends picked up after her. So, from the beginning of the play, Sadako is a light-hearted and cheerful girl who has some ambitions, and by the end, she's died. Okay. In your close reading quiz for this reading, there are 4 questions. I'll just show you. And the 4 questions they look like this, but here's the thing. Read this closely. You may choose 2 out of the 4 questions to answer completely. I will only grade 2. I only need 2, and each one will be worth 5 points. So you'll get 10 points for this. So the first one is talking about dialogue, and I tell you a great place to look. The second one is comparing Sadako to the other kids that we've been reading about. Gave you a specific place to look. Also, like, causes her to stand out basically as a female protagonist, not really compared to other people, but what makes her stand out and different. And then the 4th one is about sound elements. So you have to be able to read into these, like this says silence right there. There was something important about it being really quiet at that moment. This one's a difficult one, but for those of you who are into like music and sound and feel like music has a real big place in our life, this one might be easier to understand, especially for those kids in drama club who I know you've already been considering sound. When you're done, you just hit submit, and that will be graded for 10 points. It's one of the first things that I was going to go in for this e-learning stuff. After that, you can go ahead and move on to the compare and contrast essay. And then if you have any questions, you can contact me. Remember, over here in announcements, I've already told you that everything is posted in modules in Canvas, where I just showed you everything. And it's posted work by week, not by day. If by the end of the day, you've done all of your English work for the 3 weeks, that's great. That's fine. And that's what we can do. But again, if you have any questions too, my email is always right up here next to me, waiting to see if anyone emails me. And then I've got grading to do that I will do over here as soon as I get it. There's 3 really ambitious people who have already done it in English 8. So some of my 8th graders have already done their test. So again, if you have any questions, email me, let me know, and I will see you back in a month.